Um, First session was about teaching prose, we all saw, then poetry, and today about grammar. So, what would be the aims of teaching grammar? The aims of teaching grammar are to develop the students' insight into the structures of English language, right? They should learn the language correctly and they should be able to reproduce also the same in a correct manner, and to enable the students to develop their understanding about the rules of English grammar through use and practice only it can happen. So in order to do that, we are teaching them grammar. We are following a separate grammar book also, and to enable the students to assimilate the correct patterns of the language, to enable the students to speak and write correctly. So these are the aims of teaching grammar. They should be able to write grammatically correct sentences. They should be able to speak fluently. So speaking and writing, no, they should be able to speak correctly. They should be able to write correctly. So let them, even initially, if they make mistakes also, let us teach them how to write correctly, how to speak correctly. So that by slowly, they will be learning the language. To enable students to know the structure of the sentence, something like they will be also learning the parts of a language such as verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and all. Thus, the students, they will learn to understand the nature of the language. See, any language, whether they learn Hindi or Tamil or Sanskrit, definitely we teach them grammar, isn't it? Grammar is mandatory. It is must. Then only they can understand, they can also use the language effectively or correctly. So, what are the things to remember while teaching grammar? Can you see the presentation, teachers? Teaching grammar can be a fun experience for us and for our students as well. So, we have to give them some right amount of challenges, and we also, it is our duty as an English teacher to encourage them to communicate and to practice as well. So, teaching grammar to young students doesn't have to be a very tedious task. Okay, before you begin, only thing is we have to plan well, and we should be aware of the students learning style. So we may be handling two different sections of the same class, and we can't expect the same learners to be there inside, right? So accordingly we have to change our teaching style. We have to be aware of the students learning style as well, so we have to keep on changing the strategies for them for each classes. So use varied learning styles to keep them occupied. So allow your students to practice a lot, give them a lot of worksheets, give them a lot of examples, real life situations, classroom situations, situational approach. Okay, that you can do. So make sure you use real world examples. That is the best part to learn any language. So pay attention to what your students already what they know. See, when you're teaching class 2 prepositions, so you just brush them or revise them class 1 prepositions, and then you start with the next class, so that they will be learning from known to unknown. We are taking them from known to unknown, so that they will also become very familiar and they will also show some interest towards the learning process. So there are so many methods of teaching grammar, and according to the classes, we can adopt the teaching styles. We can follow any methodology. We can't say only this particular method we have to follow. We can follow any methodology. It can be a traditional method, informal method, or correlation method, or inductive deductive method. Any method you can follow for the primary classes. What is the meaning of traditional method? In this method, grammar items are taught with the help of a book. We have certain definitions, we have rules, we have examples. For example, definition of a noun, it will be given there. Even in our readers, we have right now, even we have in the Gulmohar, I mean, in the Viva Digital, we have this. A noun is the name of a person. We have few examples, we have exercises. And then main procedure in this method is from rule to example. We teach them the rules and then we move on to the examples. With lot of examples we tell them. And the informal method is by continuous practice, while making them to speak, read, write. So this in this way they can learn the grammar. So this method proves useful at the early stage, especially at the primary level. It helps them a lot. By giving them a lot of oral work, you can make them, you can drill them by oral work. And this method also demands a lot of practice. And within the time limit, they'll be able to learn the concept as well. And this method, the reference method or the correlation method, it is also otherwise called as the incidental method, because grammar is taught while teaching the textbook lesson or a composition, as I told you earlier, no? Well, when you're teaching the Gulmohar reader. So if you find in that particular context, if you have a lot of ing words in that particular lesson, after teaching the lesson, you can tell them, see, this book, this passage has got lot of ing words. That means simple present continuous tense. So something like that, you can relate it with the lesson. After teaching the lesson, you can just tell them, see, this particular context deals with this particular grammar pattern. Like that, you can tell them. So this is called as a reference or correlation method. So for example, while teaching the lesson, the teacher instructs the students to note all the examples of the particular tense forms. Or while teaching the adjectives, if there are so many adjectives are used in that particular lesson also, you tell them, see, you can find a lot of adjectives in this lesson. You can make them to underline also. So make it, see, first you teach the lesson, make them understand the concepts, and later you can move on to the grammar part. So don't confuse the child with both at the same time. One day you can teach the lesson, full lesson you can teach them. When you're teaching the grammar lesson, you can correlate it with this particular lesson. See, if you take this lesson, you can find a lot of adjectives. Like that, you can tell them also. Then the next one is, yeah, inductive and deductive method. This method is considered to be the best method, okay, because it leads from simple to complex, from general to particular, from concrete to abstract one, like that. So inductive means to proceed from observation. They observe us, okay, they observe and then they will start learning it. So here in this inductive method, it makes use of the students noticing. See, instead of you explaining a given concept and following the explanation with examples, you can just present the students with many examples first, and then you can introduce a concept later. So by this way, they will be noticing how to use the grammar part. Okay, these are the differences between inductive and deductive teaching as well. So it allows the students to discover the grammar rules by themselves. For example, present tense, past tense. When you read a passage about something, you can ask the students about that, lead to the answer. So you can also tell them how a word formation is done, how a comparative degree or superlative degree is brought in that particular sentence. So in this way, they will also start noticing that, and by that they will start learning the grammar concepts. So make them to notice, allow them to discover on their own. Okay, you show them lot of pictures. For classes 1 and 2, you show them lot of pictures, flashcards, charts. You can make the grammar concept in a big chart, and you can make themselves also to make some charts after teaching the concepts, or you can ask them to bring the pictures. With the pictures, you can teach them the concepts. Show PPTs. If you have the option of using the smart class in your schools, you can show a lot of PPTs. You yourself can create, or you can take it from the public domain. SlideShare. It is a public domain. You can take a lot of PPTs from there. But before you're showing it to the children, you go through the PPTs. See whether it is correct, whether the sentences, sometimes no, you can even see some spelling mistakes or even grammatical mistakes in the online domain also. So you read the PowerPoint slides, you just go through that. See whether it is apt for your class, and then you can share it with the class if you have the option of using the online domains. Then videos, you can even show some videos like from Periwinkle, Tuteway, Roving Genius. These are some public domains where you can take the videos. They are very apt for that particular level. For class 2 means you show only the class 2 Periwinkle videos. If it is for class 3, you take only the class 3 level Tuteway, so that you will have the gradation also. Gradation is very, very important while teaching a grammar concept. And tell stories, tell lot of stories for them. Okay, then sing songs. See, related with the grammar concepts, you have lot of songs. One or two few examples, I will also share it here in this presentations. Then you can just go through that. You can also adopt the same in your classes. Then pose questions, lot of questions you can pose while teaching prose, while teaching poetry, while teaching grammar. So they will come out with the answers, and then you can tell them to identify the structure. Then elicit answers from them, and you can give your own examples. Here, a deductive approach is more teacher-centered learning. This also you can apply. Teacher-centered learning also you can apply for primary classes. There is nothing wrong in that. Whatever teaching methodology is applicable for that class, you can follow that. Remember that you teach grammar to primary school students. You're not preparing for them for a college entrance and all. So no need to make, don't confuse the children with lot of examples. Okay. So few rules are more than enough. But then at the same time, when you're teaching rules also, you tell them these are do's and these are don'ts. Allow your students to practice a lot. See, while teaching the grammar concepts, especially, you can follow the tables like this. You can draw the table on the board. You make them to copy the table, how to use, where to use this I, you, he, she, especially when teaching the tense forms, use the table. Okay. While using I, how to use I am, how to use am, has or have, how to use has or have. And when you're using you, how to use are with you have, how to use, where to use has, where to use is, where to use are. So draw the table, make them to frame sentences, you teach them initially, and then you give some examples. Furthermore, you can add some more verbs and ask them to frame sentences on that. This table, no, substitution table will help them a lot to learn the grammar concepts easily. Then each method, no, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. So inductive and deductive method is based on psychological maxims. It has no place for rote memorization because we are not asking them to memorize the rules or definitions and all. We are just giving them a lot of examples. So they are also observing that. Then they themselves are learning from that, out of it. So it is advisable that the grammar should be taught informally. Okay. So at the early stage with the inductive and deductive method, it is advisable, and incidental method at the middle stage, and with traditional method at the higher stage, or whatever method is applicable for your children, no, for your classrooms, you can adopt it. Teaching rules. Now you can even include some songs, some small video clippings, short stories, some cartoons you can show them. And then from that, you can tell them the concepts as well. Do mini grammar lessons in your lesson also. From the literature leader also, you can do some grammar lessons. Action words. When you're teaching action words in English, especially for classes 1 and 2, like Simon Says, you can use that song and you can show some actions to them, standing, clapping, eating. You just tell them the words, let them do the actions. So in this way, they can learn the verbs. So all these words, you can use it for classes 1, 2, and 3. Even for 4 also, you can make 2 or 3 children to stand in front. You can tell them the words, they will show the actions. So they can even learn the verbs in this way, they can learn the verbs. So from here, you can teach them the present tense, past tense, and future tense. 3 concepts you can teach them by showing some actions also. See here, I will show a small video clipping, verb song for kids. Just listen to the song. Okay, then in your classroom also, you can follow this. You can ask the children to identify the tenses from that. And then you change the verbs and tenses. I will tell you how to do it. And stop sharing this. 1 minute. It takes a long time. Yes. You should share the sound also, right? Teachers, can you see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to this.
He is, she is, it is, Linda is, this is, that is, everyone is, we are, they are, John and Coco are, you are, I am. He likes, she likes, it likes, Kevin likes, this likes, that likes, everyone likes, we like, they like, Jack and Wendy like, you like, I like. He goes, she goes, it goes, Danny goes, this goes, that goes, everyone goes, we go, they go, Frank and Tina go, you go, I go.
So this particular song you can teach them for the usage of is, am, or are. When you are introducing this particular concept, no, you can play this song and ask them to listen to it carefully, and you can make it as an activity also.
He works, she works, it works, Jackie works, this works, that works, everyone works, we work, they work, Amy and Peter work, you work, I work. He does, she does, it does, Daniel does, this does, that does, everyone does, we do, they do, Cece and Andy do, you do, I do.
Especially when you're teaching the do on does concept for class 4, no? This song you can play, or even you can write it on the board and you can sing. The children will really enjoy, because this I tried it with my class. They were able to, it was a fun learning, and they learned the concept also very well.
He sings, she sings, it sings, Grace sings, this sings, that sings, everyone sings, we sing, they sing, Alice and Eric sing, you sing, I sing.
Okay, now I'll stop sharing this. Yes. So when you're teaching this, no, you can write it on the board like this. He was, she was, it was, Mithil was, this was, that was, everyone was. So when you're teaching this, everyone, everybody, somebody, nobody, and someone, no, especially when you're teaching the subject verb agreement for classes 3, 4, and 5, this will be very helpful. And when you're introducing the concept is, am, are for classes 1 and 2 also, this song will help you a lot. Then you can keep on changing the verbs for them. See, first you are using is, am, are, isn't it? Initially, when you're looking at the song, you can teach them that. Then afterwards, you can write it on the board like this, and you can teach the next concepts. He was, she was, it was, Mithil was. You can use the name of the child from the classroom. Okay, so that he will be able to relate it himself. This was, that was, everyone was. Then we were, they were. When you are using we and they, what to use, whether to use was or were. So through songs, they will be learning this concept, where to use was and where to use were. Roshan and Ishan, again here 2 words, okay, 2 names we are using, 2 nouns. So what to use, whether to use was or were. You teach them the concept and play the song, or you can also sing, you can write it on the board and you can sing the song. The children will really enjoy. You were, I was. When you're using you should use were, and when you're using I, you should use was. So you keep telling this to the children. Then you can change the verbs for them. This will help them a lot to learn that particular concept. See, am is are is written there. Then you can use like and likes also here. He likes, she likes, it likes, Mithil likes. Then this likes, that likes. Everyone likes. Then we like, they like. So when they are learning the subject verb agreement, no, you have to keep on insisting them where to use like, where to use likes, where to use is, and where to use are. Similarly, go and goes also. Children, they easily get confused where to use go and where to use goes. Do and does. When it comes to class 4, no, they tend to make mistakes while the usage of do and does. So you keep telling them where to use do and where to use does. Then change the verb and change the subject also. Say he dances, he jumps, she dances, she jumps. So you can give them as a substitution table also. Then you ask the children to fill it with the correct verb against the noun or pronoun given there. It dances, Pranav dances, this dances, that dances, then everyone dances. When it comes to plural, we, they, Roshan and Keshav, you and I, how it changes, how the verb changes. So you keep telling them. So you write on the board, or you can make it as a chart work, or you can give the one particular work to that particular class, make them to write or make them to sing also. In that way, they will enjoy. They will learn the concept. So again, with the same song, you can use this present continuous tense also. You can teach them. He is jumping, she is jumping, it is jumping, Pranav is jumping, this is jumping, that is jumping, everyone is jumping. So through songs, you can teach the concept. They will enjoy learning that. Then they are jumping. How to introduce? See where to use are. They are jumping, we are jumping, Roshan and Keshav are jumping. Here you can keep on changing the names of the children there. You are jumping, I am jumping. They should know where to use am. Then after this, you can incorporate all the skills like listening, reading, speaking, even in the grammar also. While introducing the concept, you can even incorporate all the LSRW skills. A few more grammar games I can suggest here for the concepts. If you want, you can note down, because I didn't make any PowerPoint presentation for that. For classes, for nouns, you can have this particular game, name, place, animal, thing. This game you can, the children will definitely love this game. And memory games also you can have for name, place, for nouns, common nouns and proper nouns. Like a memory games, you can ask them to name a place, and 4 to 5 names they will be keeping on, they will keep on repeating, or they will add on to that. So it becomes a part of the memory game also. You can have some crossword puzzles for nouns. Similarly, for singular plural also, you can make some crossword puzzles. For masculine, feminine, you can have a class game. Like you can ask one child to come in front of the board. You can show them a picture. Then the child who's just sitting behind the child, he should be able to guess what is the opposite gender for that. For masculine, feminine, you can do that. You can show the card to one child and you can expect the answer from the other child. So he can guess the answer. Then pronouns, of course, you can have a song also. You have a lot of songs in the public domain. You can choose songs to introduce the pronouns. Or to reinforce the concept also, you can make them, you can sing, or you can also play the audio clipping for them. Verbs, of course, just now I showed, is, am, are, song. Through that, you can teach the concept of has, have, do, does. Then Simon says, using that game, you can teach them all action words for classes 1 and 2. For adjectives, you can have situational approach. Like you can call the child, you can show the objects in the classroom itself, a pencil box or his lunch box, or you can show even a storybook also. You can ask the child to describe that. Any object you can show from the classroom and you can ask the child to describe it. Describing all the classroom objects. Then for tense forms, you can have the table, present tense, past tense and future tense table you can always have, and you can make them to write all the tense forms in the table and you can reinforce the concept. Crossword puzzle, of course, it is common for all the topics. You can use for all the topics. Then for verbs, as I told you earlier, no, he walks, she walks, it walks. Similarly, you can change the verb and give, so that the children will understand the concept of subject-verb agreement. While teaching tenses, you can teach them the value of time management. You tell them the story of time. They should not waste the time. Okay, past tense. About the future tense, when you're talking about future, past and present tense, you can always teach the value of time. Then this grammar booklet, you can tell them to make a small grammar booklet. You ask them to take some unruled sheets or ruled sheets. Tell them to staple it together, make it as a small booklet form. From the grammar book, no, they have in the grammar book some rules and regulations, rules of the grammar, no? Grammar rules they have in the grammar book. If you open the pages, see in the grammar book, this green color box you have, right? For common nouns, you can find the definition there. You can ask them to write this in the booklet. Ask them to have their own examples, 1 or 2 examples in the booklet. That you can train the child from class 3 onwards, or from classes 4 and 5, you can insist them to do the grammar booklet. This way they will learn the concepts. Then for adverbs, you can ask them to identify the adverbs from the lessons also. Like ly words, ask them to circle the ly words that they come across. Or you can give them some newspapers also. But if you're going to give a newspaper, it should be the same page should be there for all the children. Okay, see to that the same day sheet they get across all the students, or they can share it and use it also. Ask them to identify the adverbs in that particular page. And for articles also, teach them vowel songs. You can teach them vowels and consonants. You have some songs also in the public domain. If you want, I will just share the link with you. 1 minute. It is a wonderful song. Actually, children, they love this song. In my classrooms, no, online classrooms, I always used to play this song. After teaching the vowel song, you teach them the articles, a, an, or, the. One minute. Can you see the screen? Sound, let's share it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
It's a nice song. You can play this, or you yourself can.
See it, say it, sign it. The letters of the alphabet. See it, say it, sign it. The letters of the alphabet. A. This is the letter A. A.
But when you play the song for class 4 child, no, he may hesitate. He may not like to see this because it is all about only alphabets, he may think. But you tell him, you listen to the sound, and then you tell me what vowel sound or what consonant sounds you're able to hear. So that the child will be showing some interest to listen to the song as well. Okay, in fact, it is a very peppy song. The children love to listen to this many number of times. But then you have to tell them what is all about, what they are going to learn from this particular song. This song, you can play it even for class 5 child. So before teaching the articles, you teach them what is a vowel, what is a consonant, and then you can go with the concept.
A. Apple. A. Acorn. B. This is the letter B. Baby. Ball. C. This is the letter. See it, say it, sign it. The letters of the alphabet. A. This is the letter A. Apple. A. Acorn.
you're able to identify, no, two sounds are there for A.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this
A
you
and
have
A.
to A and A. So you have to tell the children whether for other consonants you may not have these two sounds. So you keep insisting them that the vowels have got two sounds.
B, B. This is the letter B. B, B, baby. B, B, ball. C, C. This is the letter C. K, k, cat. K, k, car. D, D. This is the letter D. D, D, dog. D, D, daisy. E, E. This is the letter E. Egg. E, E, eagle. F, F. This is the letter F. Fish. Fan. G, G. This is the letter G. G, G, goat. G, G, gum. H, H. This is the letter H.
And the silent word also you have to tell them, especially when you're teaching the articles, no, where to use the words like honest, honorary, and all, no, honor. So they should be able to listen to the sound, and accordingly they have to apply the skills like whether to use A or an before the words beginning with H. So that you insist them.
Hat. Hippo. See it, say it, sign it. The letters of the alphabet. See it, say it, sign it. The letters of the alphabet. I. This is the letter I. Igloo. I, ice. J. This is the letter J. Jet. Juice. K. This is the letter K. Kite. Kangaroo. L. This is the letter L. Lamp. Lion. M. This is the letter M. Mouse. Monkey. N. This is the letter N. Nickel. Nest. O. This is the letter O. Otter. O, oval. P.
Again, here you can find two sounds, no, for the vowels. While playing the song or while you teaching them, also you tell them.
P. This is the letter P. Pumpkin. Pizza. See it, say it, sign it. The letters of the alphabet. See it, say it, sign it. The letters of the alphabet. Q. This is the letter Q. Quail. Quarter. R. This is the letter R. Rug. Rainbow. S. This is the letter S. Sun. Sandwich. T. This is the letter T. Tiger. Taco. U. This is the letter U.
Yeah, while you're teaching the articles, no, you keep insisting about the usage of you also. See, in case of university, the letter U is pronounced as U. So which begins with the consonant sound Y. So whether they have to put a or an, we have to keep on telling them. Okay. So university, unicorn, uniform, umbrella. So according to the sound, they have to use the articles a or an. That we have to tell them.
Umbrella. Ukulele.
When they have the pronunciation U, they can't use an there. When they have the pronunciation A only, for umbrella, they can use an.
V. This is the letter V. Van.
Okay, I'll stop sharing this. I think this video was useful, or was it boring for you? It was nice, no?
Very useful.
Useful. Okay. Children, they love this. You can even play it as an audio if you don't have the facility of showing them the videos. You can just record this somewhere and you can play it also. And I'll continue with some more grammar games here. So for vowels, you can play this vowel song, and then you can begin with while teaching the articles, you can play this song. You can teach them the difference between a vowel and a consonant, and then you can proceed with the articles concept. Then punctuation. See, punctuation, whenever you make them to write in the classwork, you keep telling them. Before you begin a sentence, you should always begin with a capital letter, end with a full stop, end with a question mark, use the quotation marks, apostrophe. So while they are writing the classwork, you keep insisting them about the punctuation marks. And even in the exams also, if they fail to put punctuation marks, you have to reduce marks. Especially even in the literature part also, if they don't begin with a capital letter, cut marks. Then only they will learn. Cut half a mark, you tell them, I have reduced marks because you did not use the proper punctuation. So we have to insist them on using the punctuation while writing in the classwork, while writing in the exams also. It can be taught as a separate topic, but while making them to write in the classwork itself, if you make it as a practice, they won't make mistakes. Then prepositions. I told you, like you can make use of any situational approach, like making them to draw, as I gave you that activity, right? Like that also you can teach them how to use the pronunciation. You can make them to draw a picture while listening. It can be a part of a listening activity, or it can be a part of the art integrated activity also. Then conjunctions, of course, insist on rules. You can make them to make a small grammar booklet while teaching the conjunctions. Then lot of worksheets you can make. Adjectives of comparison, best way is the substitution table. You can make them to learn through the table forms. Positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. Smart, smarter, smartest, like that, words like that. You can make them to write it in the table form. You can teach them. Use lot of newspapers also. Like where they have this newspapers like Young World, you can make them as a part of an activity. You can give them the newspapers. You can teach them all the grammar rules. You can ask them to identify the nouns, verbs, action words, everything. With newspaper, you can teach a lot of concepts. And especially for class 5 also. See, grammar game you can use. For class 5, for gender, you can call a child, you can show a flashcard, and the rest of the class, they can tell them the opposite gender. The child standing in front of the class, they have to guess the gender and he has to say. And ask the children to highlight the tense forms in the newspapers also. You can, so in that way, you can indirectly, you can even inculcate the habit of reading newspaper. Then present tense, past tense, and past participle. Give lot of verbs in table form. When they come to class 5, we are introducing the concept of past participle. So give them lot of verbs in the table form. Ask them to find out the answers. So make them thorough with past tense concept. Then you can move on to the past participle. And writing exercise is a must for this tense forms. And while doing the revision, you can ask them to frame sentences for all concepts. This I did it in my classroom, especially for prepositions, conjunctions, I wrote a set of prepositions on the board and I asked them to make sentences for each preposition. So in that way, you can revise the concept also. During revision time, you can do that. Even for adverbs also, you can write the adverbs on the word, on the board. So ask them to frame sentences for each adverb. And adjective also. Ask them to describe their friend, describe their mother, describe their father, describe their toy car, or you can ask them to bring some objects to the class, any toys, even a book also, no? For class 5 boy, you ask him to bring his own storybook, ask him to describe about the storybook or describe his school bag, anything, even his ID card also, no? You can ask him to describe about the ID card also. So frame sentences using adverbs, using adjectives, and flashcards you can use for adverbs. You can ask them to remove the ly in the adverbs. This is a part, this game you can use it in the classroom. See, adverb and adjective game. Frame sentences using adverbs, remove ly in the adverb, and ask the child to reframe the sentence using the adjective. So here the child will think and answer. Okay. Then forming interrogative sentences, especially for class 5. Teach them to frame sentences, frame questions first. Then you can ask the child to split the tense forms and then you can do it. It is given in page 89 in class 5 reader, class 5 grammar book. Those who are handling class 5, you will know. Just I will orally, I will tell the thing and then later on I will post it. I will try to post it. In page 89, it is given there in the grammar book. See, especially for subject and predicate, no, you can make it as a strip. You can write the sentences in a strip, cut it and give it to them, ask the children to match it. So they will come out with the answers. Our old computer, you can give this part of the sentence to one child. Crashed last week, this part you can give it to the other child and ask them to identify which is the subject and which is the predicate. Then give a sentence, ask them to frame questions also for that. Subject predicate game, you can have it. Then for classes 1 and 2, you can ask them to talk. See, while teaching the concept have, you can frame some questions, ask them to say, yes, I have, no, I don't have. So if they keep on repeating this, they will know how to use, where to use I have and where to use I don't have. So divide them into groups and you can pose them questions. Similarly, add ing, no? Simon says, that game you can play. You can show the action words using the game. And for adjectives, show and tell. Show and tell, you can even have it as a competition also. Here in our school, we have it as a competition every year. Once in a year, we used to have this competition where they have to bring some objects from home. We will specify the objects also, what to bring. Either a toy car or a small model of the computer, something like that. They will bring and they will talk about it. So that is a show and tell activity where they will describe about it. And add ing also, no? You can ask them to bring the flashcards which has got letters. See, for example, B-A-K-E. The child can bring those letters. He can stand in front of the class. You can ask the child to take away the E from bake and add ing there. So similarly, small games you can have for classes 1 and 2. They will show more interest in learning the concepts. So now let me move on to the presentation part. Yes. Yes, enhanced students learning by adding values. See, true words, how to succeed in life. We are teaching them adverbs, right? Softly, sensibly, deeply, sufficiently, smartly, and all. So you tell them what are the effects of using all these positive words in their life. You can add values while teaching the concept of adverbs, by teaching the concept of tenses and all. No, successful people do less. They will not do this. No, they won't complain, blaming, argue, resenting, yelling, and all. They won't do. But instead, successful people, they will do this. They will talk softly. They will eat sensibly. They will breathe deeply. They will sleep sufficiently. So you can teach them the values also while teaching the grammar. Then tenses, as I told you earlier, value of time or time management. The past is important. So you tell them past is very important. It is where we all are from. You cannot go back, or you cannot go to your past or jump to your future. The only constant moment is only the present one. So you have to be very careful. So there are many benefits to being present. So practicing mindfulness, you can talk about that also. No? For classes 4 and 5, they can understand that. Practicing mindfulness can boost your memory. So be present, be focused. You keep on telling them about when you're talking about tenses. No, you can tell them this value. Yesterday is the past, tomorrow is the future, but today is a gift. So that is why we call it as a present. So you tell all these things. You can take some proverbs and then you can insist on that also. Other activities include, you can make them to watch some small movie clippings where they have dialogues, which targets the grammar part also. If you have the option of using smart class, you can do all these activities. Some short stories, no, while you're teaching these articles, a, an, or the, you can even tell the ant and the grasshopper story. That particular story will have the usage of a, an, and the concept. So, or you yourself can write a small story targeting the grammar, and you can reinforce the particular grammar concept to them. So let's build a sentence. You can make the small primary kids, no, 1 and 2. After teaching the concept, you ask them to frame sentences. And activities and passages from the reader also, you can mark it and give them. And insist them about to enhance their grammar skills, you can mark the passages for them. Character sketches. So whenever you teach a prose lesson, no, you teach them the character sketch. Character sketch, of course, ultimately it focuses on adjectives only. Tall, confident, independent, brave, hopeful, brown, cheerful. No, all these words. Then they will learn the concept of adjectives through the character sketches. And build a sentence using cards. You can give them some small flashcards to make a sentence, frame sentences using this. Conjunctions, of course, using small sticks or clips. Like this, you can give it to them. And then you can ask them to frame sentences, use that. So grammar games, as you told, you have noted down all the grammar games. You can just try it in your class. And you can also think and you can add some more grammar games according to your class level. And you can share it in the group also. If you're doing something new in your class, please share it in the group so that other teachers also will be benefited. Okay. So this is a forum where we are all sharing our experiences here. So it is not that one teacher only is going to say something here. So you all can share whatever new things you're trying in your class. You can share it in the group so that we can also, other teachers, even we can also try it in our schools. And ultimately the children are going to be benefited. So for the benefit of the children, you can always explore something new. And when you're trying something new, and if you think that particular concept or that particular game is very useful, the children are more interested in doing that, you can please share it with us. Then activities using newspaper, I told you, you can use it for any concept. For teaching nouns or verbs, you just ask them to bring one highlighter. You can ask them to mark the words there. Then this type of using rhymes also, you can teach them the concept. See, Mary had a little lamb. I have chosen this particular thing. There they have the I is going to school, is following, is against the rule, is turning out. Then you can ask the child to write it in past tense form. You can choose sentences and give and ask the child to write it in past tense form. Mary went to school. The lamb is followed her to school. It is against the rule. It was against the rule. So in this way, the child will learn how to rewrite the sentences in the past tense form. So give them some simple task where the child himself can rewrite it in the past tense form. Small activities where we can ourselves can think and give them. So by that, the child can learn the concept, or you can reinforce the concept with the children. And these are all some online domains, quizzes.com, wordwall.com. To get more, if you want to get a lot of worksheets, you can refer these online sites, quizzes.com, wordwall.com, or if you can create some worksheets also, you can create and post it there. So that the other children, other school children can use those worksheets as well. These are few examples I have done in real sentences. The girl and the boy, just give them, ask them to circle it. In the worksheets, you can give this. Name, place, animal, thing. This game also you can ask them to play. This is the scavenger hunt where how many proper nouns can you find in your books? Like they have to scroll they have to flip the pages and find out. Proper nouns, common nouns, of course, brainstorm. You can ask them to match it also. You have it in the grammar, this one, class 5 book, you have names of the rivers, names of the books, names of the stationery items that they use. No, it can be either common noun or a proper noun. You can ask them to write 10 words beginning with the same letter. Some games you can give. And worksheets, no, it can be based on Bloom's taxonomy. This maybe I will give a detailed picture of this in the next session. Bloom's taxonomy, what it is. Like it begins from the remembering part. No, this is a basic level where the child is able to identify something, then he understands, then he is trying to apply it in his real life, then he himself is able to create something. This is the Bloom's taxonomy. Based on this, you can create the worksheets, you can create the question paper. You can apply this anywhere. See, while teaching the concept, prose concepts, while teaching poem, while teaching the grammar part, while creating the question paper, while creating the worksheets, you can always apply this Bloom's taxonomy. This I will give a detailed picture in the next class maybe. Now the assignment for the teachers for today's this thing is choose a grammar topic. Try to create a worksheet with 5 distinct exercises ranging from standard, okay, from standard to challenging questions. If you can apply Bloom's taxonomy, you can do that.